Hello YouTube, this is Tammy Pie and I'm back with another video. I am going to do Julie at Peekaboo Rose's Deck Deterrents and Delights. I was trying to remember, this was years and years ago that she first did this tag, and I think I did it on Instagram. I have no idea what I said before, and I'm not going way back there to look for that either. But so I am doing this for the first time on YouTube. And I want to lay over how I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it as if it were a deck review. So I'm going to look at boxes. I'm going to look at guidebooks, cardstock, borders, backs, gild, and last artwork, because that's going to be the majority of it. Okay, so boxes. I don't mind a tuck box. It's fine. My very favorite boxes are boxes that are just two parts. They open up, they close. They're not hard to open up or close. This kind is fine where it's got a little kind of rim. I like even better the ones that have a little thumb hole. Let's see if I can find one immediately. Like Moon Baby, where you can just pull it down. But even just the ones that need gravity, I can handle that. I like those boxes. I like a nice magnetized box. It doesn't matter to me whether or not it opens all the way open like this, but this is nice. It does matter to me if it stays closed, because some don't. I like the way this sits on a shelf. It's really nice to have something like that. As far as deterrence, what I hate more than anything, more than I can begin to describe, is the deck in two parts box. Those boxes, there's a special circle in hell for the people that invented those boxes. Those boxes are terrible. And there were also some, I think it was Llewellyn, a couple of the companies too, that had the like really flimsy paper boxes that had like a kind of a foldy thing in the middle that was also paper, and just all of it is absolutely useless once you open the deck up. I think they're supposed to hold a larger guidebook, but I think they've gotten better about boxes in recent history. But I don't mind a good tuck box. My goodness. From Usi, they have really nice tuck boxes. Like really nice tuck boxes. There's art on the inside. They have a little paper seal. Yes, I broke that. And sometimes tuck boxes fall apart, and I struggle to keep them going anyway, because that's where I keep the deck. If I kept it in a bag, it would be different, but some decks I just keep in the tuck box. Okay, guidebook. All right. Are we doing the deterrent first, or we're doing the delight first? So I am delighted with a book that explains the art. This is one of my favorite guidebooks that I've ever read, and it's my favorite because it has just a little bit about why Star Trek, because he remembers it as a kid, as do many of us. And I don't need history of tarot in every single guidebook. I just think that's a little too much. Then give me the minors in one section, the majors in the next section. Another thing I love that he did here, he gives us a little blurb that has a little humor in it most of the time. He pulls all these together by pulling together the characters in the show. He explains the episode and why it works as that card. And he even gives a little more than what you would get just from watching it, because you can tell he's probably read some books and stuff. And then, and with the other deck of his that I have, the Odyssean, that guidebook is different, but kind of the same and equally good. He gives the myth, the reason why he chose it for that archetype and whatnot. And then something like this where he does all these spreads. He does, I want to say like 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. There are 12 spreads in here. None of them's really a spread. It's all just this kind of jokey thing that he did in the back there, which I really appreciate. I mean, it's great to have a spread. It's great to have a spread that works exactly for the artwork. But it's really good when your author has something of themselves in the book. Okay. What I hate in a guidebook, I hate when it's just all the same, exactly the same, sameness. Even sometimes when the deck itself is actually artistically new or different or interesting. And I understand that larger companies like Los Scarabeo and US Games have to, they got to draw a line in the sand, right? It has to be this and that and the other thing, because they're trying to reach the largest audience and new tarot readers all the time, etc., etc. But I really don't like that. I don't like a guidebook that falls apart. That is especially trying to me. I do appreciate a good meaty guidebook, but when it feels like they're just trying to thicken it up by saying a lot of the same things, that's kind of a bummer. I like a guidebook that tells a story, or a guidebook that is giving us the theme or overlay of whatever they're trying to give us that's new and different about the deck. That's what I like. Yeah, okay, that's enough about guidebooks. Cardstock. All right, let's talk about cardstock. The cardstock that I like the most is probably the stuff that Usi used and Playful Heart. I really like that. I like these Los Scarabeo tuck box cardstocks. It's a nice size. It's a little smaller than regular. And it's, I don't know, just perfect for some reason to shuffle. This Robledo, these cards are a little smaller than your average tarot. Let me get an RWS out. I used to have like an RWS that sat here. Oh, it's down there. Anyway, so the Robledo is just a little bit shorter and a little bit thinner than your regular US Games. Okay? So to me, this shuffle is really lovely. It just goes in, and I have average size hands. I wouldn't say they're very big or very small. They're just regular size 8 hands. I don't know. But because this cardstock is thin enough, sturdy enough, so that it's got a bend, right? And it's not shiny, but it's got a coating to it. So it shuffles really nicely. So I guess that isn't just cardstock, that's also size. I mean, I can. There's reasons why I like certain cardstocks and don't like other cardstocks, right? So really, really like that. It is very similar to it's slippery, and that's the 2012 printing of the Marcelo Robledo. It's gone, but I mean, people sell them. I don't know, maybe. I really, there's like one cardstock that I can think of that I hated so much. I couldn't even, and that was the, see? The, what is the name of that? I can't even think of it anymore. Textured tarot. That was unreasonably bad cardstock. There's not a good excuse for that cardstock. And the fact that it's still on that cardstock is mind-boggling. You know, people try to do better. This cardstock is also not great for this size, and I've beaten this deck. I have shuffled and shuffled and shuffled, and it still is a problem. I remember the Tarot of Delphi was on really kind of bummer cardstock, because it was hard to shuffle at first. So the one that I passed on, yeah, you're welcome. I worked that deck in, and yeah, that was really that was hard. So another kind of cardstock that I really hate is there's like this really cheap, like it's as if they're printing, and this phrase is used often, but you can't say it any better. It's as if they're printing on a cereal box. And I got early on the Celtic Tarot. Who are the authors' name? I think one of them is. Anyway, the one with the really pretty Celtic knot design around the edge. It's a really beautiful pip deck. Davies, I think, is the artist, maybe. So that one was on the cereal box stuff, and I tried so hard with that deck because I love the artwork so much. Finally, I loaned it to a friend, and she just got rid of it. She couldn't stand it either. So that's a bummer. I need to get that card. I need to get that deck on a better cardstock, and I would be happy with it. I'd be fine with it. I don't necessarily mind rose petal, but some rose petal is stickier than others. And it can be worked into a point, but I had one of the Dark Mansion that was on that rose petal stock, and it never worked for me. It was more than that, but that one never worked for me. That kind of cardstock. But I love most cards. You know, I like indie cardstock that's thick and firm and soft feeling, and I like shiny cardstock. Even I've gotten used to my Marielle and my 4th edition of the Alchemical, which is all shiny. I understand now why they do it. When I first got them, I didn't like it. Okay, so yeah, most cardstock is fine. There are a few that are, come on now, really? You know that these are people who are dealing with cards. Borders. again, I'm fine with a border. Some art demands a border. The Paulina Tarot needs a border. Hang on, let me go get it and show you. Okay, so this is by Paulina Faye or Paulina Cassidy, and it's the Paulina Tarot. And that artwork needs a border. It needs a border. I've seen it trimmed and it's like it's jumping off the paper without the border. Okay? And this is fine to have borders in the back if you got borders in the front. I was listening to these videos and I heard someone say something about, and I agree, when you have a borderless card, I think they were talking about Toth. When you have a borderless card and then there's a border around the back. Why would they do that? That's so ridiculous. But there are some borders that are just too much. I'm talking to you, Druidcraft. It seems to me like there are a few decks where they want to keep putting border after border after border. That's not necessary. But I don't mind a borderless deck. I don't mind a deck with border. I don't like the copyright on the border. Does this have it? This one doesn't. See? Nice clean border. No copyright. Is there one on the back? Even the back. Nice clean border. I mean, I understand when they got to put a copyright somewhere, but if it was not on the border, that would be better for me. Also, when it's super... okay, so my Dame Darcy, my first edition in particular, but I think all the Dame Darcy ones, but has like crooked borders. Oak, Ash, and Thorn has kind of, feathered borders. Those are fine. But when the border is crooked because they didn't print it right or they didn't format it right, that's frustrating. It knocks us off our concentration. When we look at cards, we're going to another place. We're going to a deeper place, right? So we don't want to be sidetracked by, oh shit, this card is like way off. And I'm talking to the guy in tarot here, that latest printing of it had the ugliest font. The border and font situation on that was ridiculous. Llewellyn did it right. Why couldn't we just have that again? That would be super cool. Can you please? Oh my God. Okay. Or if the border, it just doesn't, when it contains all the words, I don't like that either. Yeah, that's about it. Some borders good, some borders bad. Okay. Backs. I'm going to give you Paulina again. This back, same artist. It works both ways. I also agree. Somebody was saying they appreciate a reversible back whether or not we use reversals. It looks nice. It looks tarot-y. I love kind of traditional Marseille backs. I think those are cool. I love a back that is well designed. It doesn't have to be ostentatious. It doesn't have to be fancy. I also hate a back that doesn't look like it goes with the artwork. That drives me nuts. I don't like a back that has advertising on it, the words, the name of the stuff. Sometimes it's all right, but for the most part, no. Let's see, what else? Um, you know, backs are not a problem for me, but I do like a pretty back. I like the Baba Studios backs. Um, I like the back that Kara Small did for the Garden of Persephone. Hold on a second. My youngest child cannot smell. So I had to smell the chicken for him. Tell him it was okay. Okay. Kara Small, the Tarot Persephone's Garden. This is a beautiful back. Really nice. I don't think it's necessarily reversible. It might be. I don't know. No, I don't think it is. But just really nice and in keeping with the deck itself. It's got the pomegranates, right? So I like that. Yeah. I mean, they're cards. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. I don't. Oh, you know what I really hate? I really hate the decks that have like the picture on the front and the writing on the back. I hate that. That's just me. I understand some people like those decks. Enjoy. Okay. Gilding. All right. Just depends. It depends on the gilding. I like the gilding on. I like most of the matte gilding, the matte golds, the matte colors. I like the gold that is on the first edition of Tildwick. That is my favorite gilding. It's mirror gold and it's beautiful. The gilding on Alchemical Tarot 5th edition, a little bit less, but still fine because it's nice and shiny, right? I like colored gilding. I love that teal gilding that's on the Journey of the Sacred Bee. And this Encore Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. That right there, that's some yummy gilding. And I have shuffled this deck. The gilding is not destroyed. Whatever magic he uses to do the Encore Tarot, that's the kind of colored gilding I like. Is it sharp? I don't know. I'm not super sensitive. No, this one's not sharp. The cards, any paper will mess with you too. Okay. Gilding I hate is the kind with the lip. I hate that stuff. The gilding that I don't have any decks like that. I think the Fountain Tarot has that, but definitely. Okay. 3 strikes. Ostara Tarot had the 2-part box. Okay. It had the collaborative artwork, which we'll talk about later. And it had the stinking, shitty, weird ass lip gilding that never feels good. It never feels good. I don't know why. Why do they do that to us? And of course, I am a giant proponent of edging your decks if you want to. Put a little black edging on it, especially if you've got like double-sided black borders and then the edge is not black. It's, again, that's something that takes us out of the mood, right? It breaks our concentration because, okay. I also don't like, there's a kind of gilding that feels like it's glitter on the edge. I don't like that. I think it's ugly, cheap feeling, and it sheds. So none of that. Okay, so let's get to the delights and deterrents in artwork. Okay. Right. I don't like scribble decks. Like the Iris Oracle and all that stuff, this stuff that's just which is odd because I really love Key Love by Key Grafton, and it's kind of scribbly. I have to admit that it is kind of scribbly, but I don't generally like those decks that are just, it seems like doodle art, like, and this is sacrilegious. Please stay with me. Please stay with me. The Rachel Pollack deck, that art does not sing to me. So I'm holding off. I hope it doesn't go out of print and then I want to kill myself. But like the dirt gems, for some reason, this could be kind of considered scribble art a little bit. But for some reason, this stuff it's those bright colored paintings, and they're so beautiful. But in general, I don't like scribble art. And like super minimalist, like there was a line art tarot that was done, and or the one like the Seventh Sphere Marseille, I think it was, where Tina Gong, I believe, did that one too, like the Golden Thread tarot. And but Tina Gong, she did all that really minimalistic and very faded pastel. This, however, this has humor. Oops, sorry. It has that added benefit of looking like it came out of the bottom of your computer. This and this recycled plastic cardstock is delightful. I love it. But her Seventh Sphere, I didn't like the art that much. Okay. So what else? I don't love the very old style Marseille when they leave it smeary. I don't like that. I think that is not beautiful. I like this nice, cleaned up, beautifully printed. This kind of Marseille I like. I do have, where's the, I hate when I am not ready for this, but I was dying to do this video because I was like, and if I have too many different videos on my mind, I start to like get a glitch. It bottlenecks. So this one is kind of like that, but not really. The ones I'm talking about are the ones that are, they're all smeared, and they're smeared. I don't like scribbly. I don't like smeary. It's just me, my own personal weirdness. Welcome to my TED Talk. Okay. I also, a lot of these RWSs, I don't like when they don't have Pamela's font at the bottom, and when the line work has become blotchy. This is an 80s printing from, I want to say it's Swiss. Yeah, printed in Switzerland. And the line work here is very beautifully, it's black, but it's not blobby. You see what I'm saying? Everyone's favorite Three of Swords. I don't like when they've taken this artwork and blobbed it out. That's a bummer. Ooh, my favorite RWS. I mean, to me, beautifully designed back, by the way. thick cardstock, but really nice, really great shuffling, thick cardstock. So he took this artwork, which in my opinion, the hoi polloi did have too blotchy. The colors, when people would get them, would be uneven. They're bright and eye scarring anyway, but not that I would kick it out of bed. I mean, I'm just being a bitch here, let's be honest. But the way he did this line work, it isn't blotchy. It isn't over full, or, you know, it's neat, it's clean, it's beautiful. Okay. I love artwork that is personal to the artist. Okay. Just Rollers decks, all of them. I have the Strange Lenormand too. But you can just imagine this being a person or a place that she sees every day. Even this guy. You know, it's so homey. This deck is so homey. I like it. And then I'm going to show you The Weird of Sarah Howard by Gabby Angus West. And this is, you can feel it. Stellar back design, by the way. That's just gorgeous. Okay, what's happening here? All my cards are wonky. All right. So you can just tell that all this is incredibly personal to her. It's emotional artwork. So this one gets, and this has really good cardstock too. It's got that nice, and a really good size. So, I enjoy clear artwork. I also really love when the titles or words or whatever you want to put on your card, if you want to put titles or words, when they're worked into the artwork in such a way that it isn't hard on the eye. And this is kind of bordering on the border situation too, but sometimes like the border will be like a weird color, or, you know, I didn't like the orange borders on the Raven's Prophecy, or sometimes it's just, you got to wonder who's making these decisions. Okay, back to artwork. Where was I? Doggone it. Okay, hang on just a second. All right, I have no idea where I was every time I start again. Okay, I don't mind repurposed artwork that comes from an artist's portfolio and people use it to just throw into tarot things. But it's gotta kind of go with the theme. If it doesn't go with the theme or the tarot, if it doesn't work with tarot, then we're going to have some problems, right? Because sometimes they're just throwing stuff in. Why? What are you talking about? For instance, I had the Dark Royal tarot, which I hated. It just was a bunch of royal girls, and it didn't have anything to do with tarot. It's really aggravating. I've mentioned before about Tarot Muja, how it isn't Muja. And Lo Scarabeo has done a bunch of those. Lo Scarabeo has done a bunch of those decks where they take an artist's work, a famous artist, and they have somebody draw in the style of that artist. One of them that I think is very successful, I've had several of them that I really didn't like, but the one that's I think is really successful is the Klimt Tarot. And I like that they did black borders front and back. The back is reversible, and it looks like what it's giving, right? This is Klimt. And they sometimes when they do this stuff, it's jarring how almost offensive it is. But in this case, I think the artist did a really beautiful job of using Klimt's style in his artwork and giving us a really nice tarot deck. So I enjoy that. I do enjoy a little bling. I'm not going to lie. I like when the bling is on the back, even. So many decks. So many decks. So many beautiful decks. Okay. Another thing about artwork. I don't like cookie cutter decks. Okay. I hate the whole Danielle Noel, Rebecca Campbell, just doing it over and over and over and over again. It just feels so samey and so horrible and so Doreen Virtue. I have a Doreen Virtue because someone gave it to me. Oh my God, what did I break? Hang on. Okay. So she did 1,000 of these decks, and they're all kind of the same shiny, shiny cardstock. Some of them have gold gild, and they have this horrible border. This is the kind of border I hate, with a horrible font, which is just ugly. And it does nothing for this gorgeous artwork here. But all of it is, shall we say, nice washed. I don't even know what kind of wash this was, but she put out 50 of these decks. People were following her like acolytes. It was crazy. Here's some cardstock I hate. Oh my God. Cereal box. Okay. All right. It's hard to really aggravate me as far as artwork goes. I love Emma Moline's Tabula Mundi. Blingy backs. Can I make them sparkle? Blingy backs. I just think that this entire deck was brilliantly executed. I didn't like her Rosetta. I felt like the Rosetta was copying. I don't like when they make what is that deck called? It's a Marseille in a tin. U.S. Games or Hay House. The one that is Maria Celia, I think it is, where all the guys are short and stumpy looking, which is weird to me. I don't understand why that was done. If I hear in a deck review that the royalty free or whatever artwork people scanned in, if it was poorly scanned in, so that say the image is pixelated or unclear or fuzzy in some way, or even worse if it's stretched. I got a really great tarot deck at one point, but they had some of the images, and they were important cards too. were stretched in a way that destroyed the artwork. It just ruined it for me. So bummed because I made a really good trade for that. Okay, I like busy artwork. I enjoy picking stuff out, but I couldn't handle the Starman Tarot. The Starman Tarot felt busy for nothing. Like it was all beautiful. The cards were gorgeous, works of art, every single one of them. And I could read with it with some effort, but I felt like those cards were busy for nothing. It's one thing to take your artwork and add in things that will make the reading poignant. The Paulina Tarot is notoriously busy artwork, but the readings are poignant because she has little people in the hair of the fairies, and that there's like little animals on the road, but there's something there. It isn't just busy to make a bunch of lines and colors. That frustrates me. What else bothers me in art? Those what is the name of Colette Baron Reed? A bunch of these decks. The Good Tarot. I was just seeing somebody talk about how much they love the Shaman Oracle, I think it is. But what it is they've taken artwork that was okay, that was pretty in the first place, and then done all this digital upgrading that makes it so that, her skin is red and has designs all in it, and the background is also red and has designs all in it, but it's all kind of very computer generated. That to me is so ugly. It's so ugly. And also it's rude. I don't like that whole like medicine woman tarot where it's just a bunch of white women. Anyway, then what else? Cookie cutter oracles, the schmaltzy oracles, there's all with like the same keyword and the same be guided by your light and and whatever. I want to see something more personal, something more interesting. This oracle, this is not only personal, but it caters to a wide audience because it can be used in several different ways. And it's a beautiful oracle. These I believe he used graphite dust for these. And then the watercolors for the different seasons of the year are just beautiful. That's cool. And beauty is cool, but being able to use it in several different ways to show time. You can use these, each planet has kind of a particular saying. Each star sign has a particular saying. The more familiar you get with this deck, the more it gives you. When you are just pulling a card from Who's Its Starry Waves oracle, that is the 35th one that publishing house and that pair of authors has put out, that has the same artwork and the same schmaltzy word, and I hate it. I think it's boring. Give me a little bit of yourself. Be brave, artists. I'm talking to myself here. All right. And the Dark Mansion Tarot, the way it pulled the necks all up like that. I hated that. By the same token, it looks uncomfortable. It looks like all the characters look uncomfortable to me. And then by the same token of Pagan Otherworlds, those characters, some of them are crunched into like these weird positions. I could not get over that artwork. What is the deck? The Carnival at the End of the World. I couldn't relate to it ever. All right, hang on, just one more time. More delights. I love a bright color. I love decks that really stick to a theme. Like, I don't even mind like if you mix up the pips a little bit. I love the way Robert and Place, this is the all Llewellyn one, but the way he does his pips with like a little bit more in there, because believe it or not, those semi-illustrated pips have a lot to say. It's very interesting. Love that. And his line art is thick, but it's all the same thick. So it looks nice. It looks pretty. I mean, I love Shadowland. I love Tarot of the Abyss. I love all these great kind of comic book art. Moody Lescott. This high drama. And of course, this is in this great Los Scarabeo cardstock. I love it. I love this kind of high drama layering over tarot. I think that's it. I think I've covered just about everything. And I hope that this isn't too weird or hard to figure out. But yeah, this is going to go, I think I'm going to put this in the deck collection section, because, I mean, save it to the playlist with deck collection, because this is part of how we collect, right? We don't want this or that deck because we heard the cardstock was bad. We do want this or that deck because we heard that, you know, it's borderless and it's matte and it's silky cardstock and it's got great gilding and it has a really nice guidebook, and they didn't skimp on the box, and the backs are beautiful, and, you know, all the things. So if you're still here, thank you for coming.